last episode of Tales from the Darkside that we're going to cover Attic Suite number 2 of the bonus episodes on the DVD. First was Night Rose, Akaba's daughter. This one's just called Attic Suite, but it seems like this would have been the second episode to the Anthology spinoff show that never happened, Night Rose. Even the DVD doesn't give you too many details about what exactly these episodes were, and this one is a step down as far as production. Not as many characters, no scenic locations. It feels right at home as a average Tales from the Darkside episode. It was also shot in 1986, along with the rest of the Tales from the Darkside episodes. And it's written by Michael McDowell, who I've said is my favorite writer of Tales from the Darkside. He worked with Stephen King, wrote screenplay for Thinner, and worked with Tim Burton on Nightmare Before Christmas as one of the writers. But this is his D-level script. It just seems very rushed, and from what I could tell, this never aired anywhere. I think Akaba's daughter, there's some websites that are saying that they did show that episode as a quote-unquote TV movie to hopefully get people excited about this new anthology show, Night Rose, and it just never went anywhere. But this one, from what I could tell, never premiered on TV, so you can only watch it on the DVD. And I wish I could say that it was a hidden gem, but that's not really the case. It features 3 characters, and her husband Michael, and Aunt Ruth, who's living up in the attic, and is a very, very old woman who's about to die. Michael is having trouble with his job. He's not making very much money. He mentions he makes $5 an hour, which, translating to 2025 money, is around $14 an hour. And Anne is also struggling to pay the bills. They're afraid their electricity might be cut off. But they do have Aunt Ruth, who not only has some jewelry and clothes that they could sell, but also if she dies, they will get some of her life insurance. It's a good setup for a horror show. I mean, the existence of life insurance is always a little creepy. I mean, if this person who you care about dies, you get money. I've never been in a situation like that where I get life insurance from someone who dies, but man, that's gotta be an awkward exchange. Your aunt dies and you're on her life insurance policy, so you have to call them up and go, hey, so she just died, but am I getting $1 million or something? The character Aunt Ruth is extremely annoying. She's played by Paula Truman, who acted it up until the late 80s. She is 90 years old in this episode. That's her real age, 90 years old, and she's still acting. She died at the age of 96 in 1994, and this looks like this was her very last acting credit. At 90, she was Grandma Sarah in The Outlaw of Josie Wales, and Miss Fenty in Paint Your Wagon. And we saw her in Season 2, Episode 12, A Tales from the Darkside, Monsters in My Room, as Aunt Teresa. So she certainly has some talent, but man, is she an annoying character. And while what these people are doing are bad because they want her to die and they're going to figure out a scheme to kill her, I feel like you have to make the aunt more pleasant because you end up kind of cheering on the people. You're like, oh man, she's grumpy, she's not nice, she's always cold, she's always complaining. Am I supposed to be on their side? I'm not, but man. And this episode is just overall unpleasant. It's not good to look at. The acting from Paula Truman is quite bad. I mean, she's 90 years old playing a role, so I can't imagine how difficult that would be, but still, maybe they should have cast a younger woman in this role. I mean, their aunt, it's not even their grandma. I mean, she's a full 50 years older than Michael and Anne. So she continues complaining about being very cold, so Anne has a plot to kill her. And this scene is extremely awkward since she starts opening up the windows, so it makes it very, very cold in the room upstairs, hoping that Aunt Ruth will freeze to death or most likely have some type of heart attack. Old people, when they get colds, they tend to die. So it's a plan that could work, give her a cold and hope her immune system can't handle it. They have this awkward exchange where Aunt Ruth seems to accept her death, but wants to just have a couple more chocolates. And
But I'm not supposed to eat pork, but it tasted wonderful. Wouldn't even give it to you, probably.
That's right. It looks completely natural.
Stay with me, Anne. I don't want to die alone.
And so any horror that could happen here is being shuttled by the fact that Aunt Ruth doesn't even care that she's dying. It doesn't even matter to her. So she doesn't care, why would I care? And then we get the twist that Anne decides to kill Aunt Ruth by opening up the windows and having her get a cold and dying. But she also takes some chocolates that are offered to her by Aunt Ruth. And then she comes home. Michael finds that Aunt Ruth is dead. They're both high-fiving and celebrating. Michael's like, yeah, I'm doing an autopsy because I poisoned those candies. The same candies that his wife Anne ate with Aunt Ruth. So everybody ate the candies, except for Michael. So that's it for Attic Suite. That's all we get in this episode. If I was to rate it, I'd give it like a 3 out of 10. I think the first episode, Akaba's Daughter, is much better. I love Michael McDowell, but I think he's phoning this one in. It doesn't have his usual flair. It's not well thought out like his stories are, and it doesn't feature any type of monster. He loves putting monsters in his stories. I mean, I've expected Aunt Ruth to turn into a vampire and attack her at the last minute. But no, she doesn't care that she's dying. I don't care that she's dying. Anne doesn't care that she's dying. I don't care that Anne dies. I don't care about anything in this episode, but it is the very last one we're going to do with Tales from the Darkside. And since very few people saw this one, it is worth talking about as a curiosity. I will mention I've watched some other reviews. Movie Castle, I've had some correspondence with. He seems pretty cool. He reviewed this one, and he actually liked this one better than Akaba's Daughter. So, Roy Baker played the character Michael. He was McClane in Total Recall, and recently acted in Animal Kingdom. His wife Anne was played by Brenda Vaccaro, who was Bianca in Supergirl, Shirley in Midnight Cowboy, and also Zorro the Gay Blade. Midnight Cowboy and Zorro the Gay Blade. There's a joke in there somewhere. This description of her is funny. Plucky, high-spirited, husky-voiced, leading actress, Brenda Boole Vaccaro, was born in Brooklyn. I didn't want to be too mean and comment on her voice, but since IMDb is telling us she has a husky voice, let's observe her voice and see if we also agree that it sounds so deep. I was laughing when this episode started. I was like, wow, is that the way she sounds? And the answer is yes. Do you find this a turn on? Let me know in the comments.
Is it Aunt Ruth?
She's making me an old woman. Because of her special diet, I have to cook 6 meals a day instead of 3. Do you know what that's doing to our food bill?
And that's it for Tales from the Darkside. We'll be doing some top 10s later on. It was a fun journey, but I'm happy to be done with this series. And get on to ones that I think are better, like Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt, and even Are You Afraid of the Dark? So check out our playlist on the series we've covered so far: Mystery Science Theater 3000, Black Mirror, Monsters, Fear Itself, and I'll see you on the top 10s. Thanks a lot.